guys had to do a lot of international travel as part of your work?
I feel really lucky. So I am still building my career. I feel like I'm still, getting it launched, and I got in a perfect position where I got to travel quite a bit internationally. I got to go to Taiwan, which was really exciting but kind of scary at the same time. I was traveling with a couple people that I knew, but there's different customs and traditions.
I think I've been in something like 37 countries for actual work purposes in my career, and in just about every time zone, right? And so I don't know all the cultures, and I've tried to do some of what you described, try and read a little bit or whatever. Don't always have the time for that. I do try to, a lot of times I'll try to read a local paper at the hotel in the morning before going into work or whatever, just to find something that can be like a piece of common ground to talk about, to kind of break the ice a little bit. And then when you do get into the actual detailed communication that you're trying to have while you're visiting, I think just the fact that you took a little time to try and break the ice a little bit first gives some appreciation towards gaffes and things that you might make and miscommunications you might make. And I like to remind people that all of my dealings are in English. I don't speak any other languages, right? And so no matter how broken someone else's English is, I know that they speak it better than my whatever. Chinese or my whatever, right? And so I'll remind people of that, and it helps put them at ease. I'll actually have to write things multiple times for different audiences. So I've had project teams where some of the teams in the US and some of the teams overseas, and the instructions that you give to these two teams, you have to give in different ways sometimes to get the meaning across.
But I avoid cliches or any slang just because it's not going to translate.
Right.
Sometimes you don't even recognize how much cliche you're using because it's so norm to us. But I think I told you guys before, one time I was working in the UK, and I worked very closely with this guy. Like every day we sat kind of like this across the desk from each other, all the time working together. And we got into a conversation probably for 45 minutes talking about some testing or something. And we just stopped in the middle, looked at each other, and said, "What are you talking about?" We just didn't understand each other, And it's amazing. We're speaking the same language, but I had said something like, "I wanted to give you a heads up," And in England that doesn't mean anything, or at least it doesn't mean what we think it means.
Yeah.
And so,
like when you're proofing, take each word literally. Yeah. Don't assume it means something here.
Yeah.
You mentioned kind of the 24-hour wait sometimes when you're waiting with folks overseas. I've found that's something that's really important. When I do have these large time zones to deal with, that's when you really sit down and think through what you've communicated. Because if you don't get everything that you need back in 24 hours, you've lost even another day, right? So it's definitely, in those types of communications, I spend more time thinking about what have I written, am I going to get everything that I need back from this communication?
It's also kind of beneficial sometimes though, because if you have a really busy day, you can kind of prioritize and you're like, well, I don't need to send this email right away because it's 3 a.m. and they're going to be sleeping.